Hi, and welcome to the Implementing Scrum overview video by Michael Vizdos. That's me. You can go to implementingscrum.com to learn more about Scrum. And if you want to learn more about me, Michael Vizdos, you can go to michaelvizdos.com/about. I want to set the context for this video. Agile is not the same thing as Scrum. Agile does not equal Scrum. And Scrum is not just for information technology or software development teams. Finally, Scrum is not the silver bullet or answer to the universe. I want to set a little bit of context around what is Agile first. And if you go to agilemanifesto.org, you'll see this manifesto for Agile software development. And remember now, it's not just for software development. You can use it for any kind of product, service, or project delivery. It really is about a shift in our mindset, and you're going to see how this changes the way you deliver work. There's this Agile TLA or three-letter acronym soup out there of so many different types of things you can do in an Agile manner. And also, you can go ahead and scale Agile now with many different techniques. That's not the focus of this video. What's the point of Agile? It really is, for me, focus and deliver. You got to learn to prioritize. This is from Jeff Sutherland's book, The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time. And really what this shows is if you have multiple products, projects, or services all trying to be delivered at the same time, if you look at where it says traditional strategy, everything is important, do it all at once, guess what? You're not going to get it all done. The Agile strategy is prioritize and focus. Also, you've got to stop multitasking. Jerry Weinberg, in his book, Quality Software Management, talks about some of the details behind the loss to context switching that you get when you're trying to do more than one thing at a time. Think about right now, you're listening or watching this video, and you've probably got at least one or two other things happening. My request to you is stop doing that and just listen and watch and try to learn something here. So again, for Agile, you've got to learn to prioritize and stop multitasking. If you just stop the video here and take that away, life is going to improve for you. This video is going to concentrate on something called Scrum. It's just one of many different ways to do and deliver work. You can learn more at implementingscrum.com, and I'm going to talk about the events and roles and responsibilities within Scrum during this video. ImplementingScrum.com has many different cartoons out there of chickens and pigs, and there's probably over 100 of them now out there. They've been delivered since about 2006. Also, this idea of Scrum comes from the Scrum Guide version 2017 by Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland. If you want to listen to a free audiobook of me reading the Scrum Guide, go to implementingscrum.com/Scrum Guide, and there's a free download there. So here is the basic framework of Scrum. You've got roles, responsibilities, and events. Let's go through them really quick. You're going to start out with product backlog. This is basically your wish list of all the things you want to happen on a project or product. You have the sprint backlog, which is a subset of the product backlog. This is the work that the development team will work on or complete during the sprint and should be less than 30 days or one calendar month. The team is going to meet daily for what's called a daily scrum for less than 15 minutes. And it's suggested that you focus on the following three questions. What have you done since our last daily scrum? What are you going to do before our next daily scrum? And what are your impediments to meeting this thing called a sprint goal? The sprint goal is the reason for why you're doing this sprint. At the end of the sprint, you're going to show a product increment to your stakeholders. And this product increment is done. If the product owner wants to release it into production or out into the real world, he or she can do that. And this definition of done really does meet that sprint goal that you worked on during that sprint. At the end of the sprint review, the team will have sprint retrospective to figure out how can we get better at delivering that product increment as a team. The Scrum Guide 2017 recommends that you do take one action item and move that into a sprint backlog item to work on during your next sprint. The Scrum team is made up of three roles: the product owner, the development team member, and Scrum Master. Before we talk about those three roles, I want to just introduce this concept of noise and put this red line in between the product backlog and the sprint backlog, because we'll see pretty quickly why this is important to keep an eye on. If you have a lot of noise coming into a project and you draw this line, again, this is not part of the Scrum Guide, you're going to be able to differentiate between the product backlog and the sprint backlog. But see how it starts to get really noisy? If you don't differentiate between that product backlog and sprint backlog items, things are going to get out of control and your project is going to go red and things are going to be totally crazy. In order to keep it green, really focus on making sure that as a product owner, he or she is working on prioritizing or ordering that product backlog so that you're delivering the most important things in a consistent manner as a team. The product owner is really responsible for communicating why we're doing this. And I use a 3-letter acronym, AKA. The product owner needs to be available, knowledgeable, and have the authority mostly to say no to a lot of other stakeholders and help block the noise so that the team can develop and deliver a product increment at the end of a sprint. The development team member is responsible for pulling the high priority or high ordered product backlog items into a sprint and committing to what are they going to work on for the next 30 days or less. Development team members. These are not just your software developers or programmers. Development team members really are anybody on the team that helps deliver that product increment. So in software development, you can think of not only programmers, but also system architects, designers, testers, documentation people, DBAs. Also, you can include people on a product development team such as marketing, legal, compliance, and others. Look at this also from a business perspective and maybe even pull in salespeople. The development team members also work with the product owner on defining the sprint goal and the definition of done. This will evolve as the team learns more about what actually is happening in the real world. The development team members and the product owner work together during the sprint and participate in the daily scrum. The daily scrum is less than 15 minutes. The development team members and product owner present a product increment at the sprint review. This is really to get feedback on that done working software or working product. Ideally, if you get feedback from your stakeholders during this sprint review, it may reorder what your product backlog looks like for the future. And while that seems chaotic, it actually helps you deliver what's the most important thing almost immediately to your end users or customers. The product owner and development team member also spend time together in what's called the sprint retrospective, where they figure out what can they do better to improve how they work as a team. The Scrum Master's responsibility is really to be a servant leader and effective facilitator. They are not the Scrum police. Also, the Scrum Master may facilitate many of the events talked about in Scrum. One of the most important things during Scrum is to do product backlog refinement. And this is where, as a development team, you can spend up to 10% of your time looking at the next highest priority or highest ordered product backlog items in the product backlog to make sure that they're ready to go for the next sprint. Don't spend the entire product backlog refinement session continually refining or going over multiple product backlog items that may not get done in an upcoming sprint. Don't try to refine the entire product backlog. Scrum is an incomplete software development lifecycle or product development lifecycle. And that was that scaling stuff I talked about. And I break it into these 3 components of X, Y, and Z. We're not going to talk about that in this video today. I'll release some other information about that later. So that's Scrum. Simple, right? You can learn more about the roles and responsibilities of the product owner, development team member, and Scrum Master at scrumalliance.org. So what's the point of Scrum? Remember, focus and deliver. Requested next steps are go to implementingscrum.com, read about what you can do to increase your chances of success using Scrum. If you're interested in training, go to iwantscrumtraining.com. If you're interested in coaching or mentoring, go to agilementoring.com. And to learn more about me, go to michaelvizdos.com. Please also follow me on social media at michaelvizdos.com/social media. I'm currently on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Also, I want you to please download and share this with your entire organization. You can go to 2018-scrum-overview.mvizdos.com. All of these slides and this video are available to view and use on Google Slides. If you use any of this, please also remember to share the credit of this presentation. I appreciate it. Finally, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and click that little bell-looking icon. Or if you've got this somewhere else, you can go to youtube.mvizdos.com and subscribe there. I'll be sure to be releasing more videos and information about how to implement Scrum effectively. Thank you for watching, and please share this now. Have a great day.